Hello, YouTube. It's Carlos the Rook, and I'm bringing you the final round, round nine, that I played in the World Open 2026 in Washington, D.C. 2.5 weeks ago. And I think it was, I got 5 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So that's where I'm sitting at. And round nine, I'm going in and closing in, trying to get the final game just to get as much as I can. I'm playing David Matthews, who's white pieces at 1798. I got the black pieces at 1667. He starts off with d4. I go d5. c4, we're going into a queen's gambit. I play e6, the queen gambit's decline that I've been playing lately. I'm trying to learn this opener. He goes knight f3, and I go a6, the sideline I play sometimes. I also play knight f6. And here you go, c captures d5, e captures, and he goes knight c3. I go knight f6, protecting the d pawn, bishop g5, and now I go c6 over protecting that pawn. And here he goes e3, so I develop my bishop, f5, stopping his bishop from going there. I want that square. So he goes there and we trade off. The queen captures back. And here I think my prep is knight on b to d7, but I can't remember if the prep is this one or h6, so I mixed up my lines. And I play h6 instead. So this is better for white. And here he plays bishop h4, fading back. So I bring my bishop to d6. Stockfish wanted the knight to come over and just put the knights together. And here he castles. So I castle. And he plays e4. So I take. He take with the knight. And I just fade the bishop back to e7, protecting that knight. So if you want to trade, we can. I have no problem with it. And so he captures the knight. I capture back. He captured back. I capture back. And so here I'm thinking like the position is kind of drawn. So there's no real life in the position. So I'm figuring maybe we're going to go into a drawn game. If that's what happens, that's what happens. It's no big deal. I was okay with that. I've already got 5.5 points. I can end the tournament at 6 and I'll be okay with that. Even though I wanted to win. But I've learned not to force a win if it's not there. So he goes queen b3, and here I go b5, just pushing that. The knight protects this pawn, so my position is solid. He goes rook on a to c1, and here I got kind of concerned because I want this knight to come to d7, but I'm not sure if I can move it there if he double up. But I went d7 anyway. I felt like I had the time. I could swing a rook over to the c file if he try and double up. And I want to make sure his knight doesn't come to e5, putting extra pressure on his pawn. That was my biggest concern. So we go queen c3. I bring the rook on f over to c8. And I'm just saying that my king side is safe. And I want these rooks to push on the pawn on the queen side. I want the rooks to support the pawns on the queen side. So he goes knight e5, forcing his knight in. I have to trade, or else this pawn falls. So he takes with the pawn, and I just slap my king in front of the pawn, blockading. He goes b3, because I was threatening to get the a pawn. And here I go c5. My idea is just trade off my weakness. I had a backwards pawn, so I'm just going to go c4, trade that off, and then double up over here on this e pawn if I can. And here he goes rook on f to d1. His idea is to hit me on d6. So I just move up to rook c6, stopping that idea. I'm not letting that go. And now his idea is to double up rooks on the d file and try to penetrate the d file. So I just go ahead with the c4 idea. And I want to trade pawns. And I get rid of my weakness. Trade pawns. And if your queen run, I trade rooks. And then I come double up on this e pawn. So he goes with b4. Stockfish doesn't like this. The advantage went from him to draw to a slight advantage for me. He doesn't like the b4. He's giving me connected pass pawns. I think Stockfish just wanted him to trade off. And here I go, rook e8. My queen side is solid now. So now I want to put pressure on the e pawn. He goes F4, and now I just go Queen G4. And my idea is I'm putting pressure on this pawn. I want to bring the rook from the C file over to the G file and just add pressure on the king side now. My queen side is solid. So he goes Queen D4. And now I go rook on C to E6. And I'm just doing a blockade. And I just want to, if he tried an F5 idea, I could just take his pawn. That was my idea. And so he brings the rook back to F1. He was trying to go for F5. And here I go F6. The engine doesn't like that. It's back even. And he goes Queen D5, pinning my rook to the king. So I just break the pin immediately. He go A4, trying to generate some counterplay on the queen side, trying to break my pawn phalanx. And Stockfish says B captures A4, E captures F6, rook captures F6, queen captures C4, queen F5, and it's just an even game. But I went F captures E5 here. And he went F5, hitting my rook. Stockfish doesn't like that. He swung the advantage back to me. And I go, Stockfish wants C3. Hitting the rook. And I thought about C3, but I didn't think it was winning. It was C3. F captures E6. C captures D2. Queen captures D2. Queen captures E6. And it says black has an advantage here because it has a pass pawn that he can push, and white has to be concerned with this. And the activity on the queen side, white doesn't have much there. You can trade pawns, but this pawn is pushing, and he has to do everything to blockade it. It's not completely winning, but it will give black winning chances. So I didn't do that. I went rook F6 instead, and I just wanted to stop any F5 ideas. So I wanted to blockade this pawn and threaten to pick it up. And here he captures on B5. And I felt like that was the wrong idea and that was a complete mistake. So Stockfish has me completely winning. And it wants rook captures F5. So Stockfish wants rook captures F5. Rook captures F5. Queen captures F5. B captures A6, C3, rook F2, Queen B1 check, rook F1, C2, and black is completely winning. White has to go Queen D2, and then it's E4. You can't stop both pawns. Wow. Queen E3, Queen D1, A7, Rook C8, B5, Queen D3, so some got to block this, Queen F4, Queen D4 check, King H1, the queen captures A7. Queen C1 blockading the pawn. E3. And black is just completely winning. So this is what Stockfish wanted. I, however, seen C3. And my idea is I'm hitting the rook. The rook got to move. I can take this pawn on the B file and then take this pawn over here if I need to, where either my queen, my pawn, or this rook. This rook can swing. So I got options. So he plays rook on D to F2, moving the rook and doubling up on this pawn. And so I take with my queen. He goes bishop captures A6. And here Stockfish wants Queen B6, pinning the rook. And then Queen B7, Queen captures A7, Queen captures A6, Rook captures A6, and black's completely winning. I missed that. I went rook captures a6, and I gave away all advantage, and now it's back drawn. And here, Stockford, we both missed this continuation. In order to draw, white needs to play f6. It's the only move. And if rook captures f6, rook captures f6, g captures f6, the drawing move is queen c6, hitting the rook and hitting this pawn both. So once rook f8, it's saying h3, h3 giving the king some luft. Queen d4 check, king h1, e4, and it's completely drawn. White has rook c1, and the pawns don't get in. You can try rook d8, queen captures, rook captures, and white can just blockade these pawns. He can't get in. So I missed this. This was completely drawn because I took the wrong way. And my opponent missed it also. We both was looking at f6, rook captures, pawn captures, rook captures, queen d4 check. When the queen has to take, and then you got connectors coming through. And if the rook goes behind here trying to get it, we just check and move in front, and then this pawn runs. So that's the variation both him and I saw. We was on the same flight at the airport, and we talked about the different lines going, the different lines as we was waiting on our plane to board. So because of that line we both saw, he went queen f7, trying to hit the rook. And I just go rook f8, hitting the queen. And now the queen has to fade back to h5. I go queen d4, pinning the rook. And he goes king h1 to break the pin. And I just take. And here he resigned because of the tactic. If the rook takes, it's checkmate. Just plain and simple. I seen that, and I went over it like 7 different times just making sure I saw what I saw and making sure I wasn't tweaking. So with that, I won the 9th game, which gave me 6 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, putting me at 6.5 points for the tournament out of 9 rounds. So I had a very positive score. I tied for 3rd place. I got the under 1700 prize since I was rated 1667, and I got my highest prize money to date, which was $1,500. So it was a very successful tournament. I did really good. I got back up to 1810, so my rating is back over 1800. I gained 103 rating points. So it was a very successful tournament. If I would have won at least one of the games that I was completely winning that I lost, I would have tied for 1st place and brought home $7,000. If I would have won 2 of those games that I was completely winning that I lost, I would have took sole 1st place and won $12,000. So it was brutal losing those 2 games I was completely winning. So I guess it's poetic justice because I won some games that I shouldn't have won. So it just the ups and downs of the chess, It's the last person to make a mistake and who sees those mistakes. Thank you for watching. This was a successful tournament. I hope you enjoyed the streams. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's absolutely free. Tell your friends and family. Let's grow the channel. Let's make the algorithm grow. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.